In mid-March 2026, two separate flooding events affected communities in different parts of the United States within a short period of time. Cities along the border of Washington and Idaho dealt with rising river levels after several days of rain and snowmelt, while a powerful storm system brought heavy rainfall and flooding to parts of Hawaii roughly a day earlier. Although the events occurred in very different landscapes, both situations disrupted transportation, strained local services, and required quick responses from emergency crews and municipal authorities. In the inland Northwest, flooding developed across the agricultural region known as the Palouse. The cities of Pullman and Moscow experienced the most visible impacts as rainfall accumulated over several days. Water from surrounding hills and farmland drained into creeks and rivers that passed directly through both communities. As runoff increased, the South Fork Palouse River rose steadily and eventually spilled into nearby streets and low-lying areas. Monitoring stations recorded the river reaching roughly 8.8 feet during the peak of the event on March 14th. At that level, sections of downtown Pullman experienced water flowing across roads and into parking areas near the river channel. Some businesses reported water entering ground-level spaces, while crews worked to clear storm drains and keep water moving through the system. City authorities closed several roads near the river and advised residents to avoid flooded areas until water levels receded. Across the state line, Moscow faced similar conditions. Smaller creeks feeding the regional watershed expanded beyond their usual channels and sent runoff into nearby streets and intersections. Police and local emergency officials issued travel advisories as standing water made some routes temporarily unsafe for vehicles. Public works teams inspected drainage channels and removed debris that could slow the movement of water through culverts and roadside systems. Although the flooding lasted only a limited period, it caused disruptions across daily routines in both cities. Traffic patterns were altered, some businesses paused operations during the peak water levels, and emergency staff remained on alert until conditions improved. As rainfall decreased and runoff slowed, the river gradually returned to lower levels, and most road closures were lifted within the following days. While these conditions were unfolding in the Pacific Northwest, a separate flooding event had already begun in Hawaii. Heavy rainfall struck parts of the island of Oahu, as a weather system known as a Kona low moved near the islands. Kona lows are storm systems that develop in the central Pacific and can bring intense rain and strong winds to the region. In areas around Honolulu and nearby communities, rainfall quickly accumulated and overwhelmed some drainage systems. Streets in several neighborhoods were covered with water, and emergency crews redirected traffic away from flooded roads. Local authorities also opened shelters for residents in areas where runoff threatened homes or infrastructure. The storm also caused short-term disruptions to utilities. Power outages affected tens of thousands of customers as strong winds and saturated ground damaged lines and equipment. Crews worked to restore service while continuing to monitor rainfall and stream levels across the island. Geography played an important role in how the flooding unfolded. Hawaii's mountainous terrain causes rainwater to move quickly from higher elevations toward coastal communities.
Come on, Prius.
You can do it. It's also rocks.
Holy shit.
If we had waited, we wouldn't have.
When heavy rainfall falls over a short period of time, water can travel rapidly through valleys and drainage channels before reaching populated areas. During the Kona storm, this process contributed to fast-moving runoff that flooded roads and low-lying sections of the city. Experts reviewing both events point to different but related weather processes. In Washington and Idaho, meteorologists note that the flooding was largely driven by the combination of rainfall and seasonal snowmelt. Temperatures rose enough to melt snow in higher terrain, while rain continued to fall across the region. When these conditions happen together, more water enters rivers and streams at the same time, which can raise water levels quickly. In Hawaii, specialists say the key factor was the Kona low itself. These storms draw moisture from surrounding ocean air and can release large amounts of rainfall over the island. Because the terrain channels water downhill rapidly, even a short period of intense rain can produce flooding in urban areas near the coast.
Yeah, I saw it. Oh my god! I know. I'm looking at another one.
Oh, guys, look.
Oh my god!
For communities affected by the March flooding, the focus now shifts toward recovery and preparation. Local authorities in Pullman and Moscow have continued inspecting drainage systems, clearing sediment from channels, and evaluating whether additional flood management measures may be needed in vulnerable areas near the river. Businesses and residents in low-lying districts have been cleaning and repairing minor water damage where it occurred. In Hawaii, crews have been working to remove debris from storm drains and restore normal traffic patterns on roads that were flooded during the storm.
Gosh.
Oh, I got some work to do now.
Oh my
Look at that.
gosh.
Look at that.
This is a huge tree.
Utility providers also continue repairing damaged infrastructure and reviewing how systems performed during the heavy rainfall. Events like these are often used by emergency planners and engineers to review how infrastructure and response systems function during severe weather. Information gathered during the flooding, such as river levels, rainfall totals, and the locations where water accumulated, helps local governments refine planning for future storms. While the weather systems that caused the flooding have now moved on, the lessons from these events remain relevant for the communities involved. Monitoring rivers, maintaining drainage networks, and coordinating emergency responses are all part of reducing the impact of future flooding when similar conditions develop again.
Oh, the neighbors are flooded. Wow.
Thanks for watching Severe Weather, where we break down the facts behind nature's most intense moments. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support keeps this channel going. Hit the bell so you never miss a real, calm, and clear report. See you in the next one. Stay informed, stay safe.